Hi everyone, this is Joseph Tsang. I'm the managing partner here at Tsang & Associates. We are a firm that specializes in solving legal problems with creative solutions. Now, today's video is about everything that's wrong with Trump's proclamation. This video is made for two groups of people. The first are for the Trump supporters. We want to hold our president accountable. He made a good promise that he's going to improve the economy. So let's see how he's going about doing it. The second are for the people that this proclamation actually does affect and see what are some of the creative solutions around the problem. So the June proclamation bans 4 groups of people from entering the US to work. Why did Trump do this? Well, because there's millions of residents and citizens without jobs. The unemployment rate is at 13%. He would like to bring that number down. And so he bans these 4 groups of people. Now, that's mistake number 1. He chose the wrong 4 groups to ban, okay? If he really wanted to improve the US economy and have more jobs, he would increase the E2 treaty trader visa or expand the EB5 program, basically allowing every single foreign worker that comes here to hire 10, or let's increase it to 20 employees, right? So for every foreigner that comes, create 20 jobs. And why don't you up that a little bit, make it a level wage 2 or level wage 3 job, minimum salary 40,000, 50,000, 70,000 per employee. That would solve the problem very, very quickly. But instead of that, he banned 4 groups of people from entering the US because supposedly they are taking US jobs. Now let's examine each one of them carefully. So the first group of people are H1B applicants. This is mistake number 2. He banned H1B applicants. 95% to 98% of H1B applicants, I'm just off the cuff here, estimating, they are already in the US. They were originally students and they are applying for H1B in the US. Very few of them are actually overseas applying for H1B to come to the US. So this ban wouldn't affect them. Almost every single H1B applicant that I've come across, they are all in the US trying to go from their master's degree to their first job, or if their PhD to their first job. Now, if they already have an H1B, then this doesn't affect them as well. So he chose the H1B category to ban, when in fact less than 5% probably are even in the US, so it doesn't affect them. And by the way, H1B applicants are specialized and specially trained workforce. They are not your everyday Joe Smo job. So if the average American got let go from a job, an H1B applicant is not the reason why. And the H1B applicant, when they come to the US, are not going to replace that job. It takes almost a year before they are picked in a lottery, before they are approved. Companies go out of their way and spend maybe $10,000 to apply for an H1B, hold the position available for a year for this candidate. It is not a position that a normal Joe Smo is applying for. So that's the first thing that's wrong. Second are the H2B. These are temporary workers coming in, fulfilling a couple months of work and then leaving. One of the requirements to apply for an H2B is that there are no willing and capable US workers, which means in this economy, if there's tons of unemployment and people are applying for jobs, H2B people don't even qualify. They wouldn't even be applying for it. But if there's nobody applying for those specific jobs and a job needs to be done, well then why don't we get them here to do it? So H2B doesn't actually displace US workers either. The third category are J visas. International students exchanging to come in the US, or scholars. They don't really displace anybody's job. They're not even here to do a job. They're here to learn. So let's not even put them in the mix. The fourth category is the executive transferee, the L visas, L1A, L1B. These are high executives from overseas. Think Sony general manager coming to the US to build up the company, or an international executive coming to the US, starting a company, hiring all these workers. So they are not the type of people that are also fighting for the average American's job either. And also, if they can't come in, the US company isn't just going to hire somebody else. These are people who have been overseas executive manager for over a year, managing tons of people, and only they have the specialized knowledge or capability to really start up the company in the US or to continue to expand. It's not your typical person that is displacing US workers. You could say, well, it's not really about them, it's about their spouses. We like them, but we don't like their spouses because their spouse will have an open permit that they can work at any job, and they are displacing US workers, right? Let's dissect that a little bit more because this is actually the same rationale as his April 22nd proclamation. His April 22nd proclamation banned green card holders from coming into the US, new minted green card holders from coming to the US, because supposedly if they came, they would be able to displace US workers because now they can work. And now these four categories, their spouses will be able to get a work permit and they can work too. And so they will displace US workers. I want you to think about that for a sec. These people coming from overseas, the Italians, the Greek, the Chinese, whatever, they're coming to the US. What jobs are they going to be applying for that you will be displaced, right? Or conversely, think if you were to go to a different country, what skill set would you have that you're going to displace people over there? If you think about that a little bit more carefully, you will see they're not really competing for your job. They're not going to replace you. No way, right? They don't really speak the language, or even if they do speak the language, they're not familiar with the system. There's a lot of reasons why they're not going to replace you. On the contrary, think about how many things you pack when you go on vacation for 2 weeks. If you're a female or if you have a spouse, you know you're going to be packing a ton of stuff. You're going to bring a lot of money. You're going to be spending. You're going to be enjoying yourself. So think about what the mindset of the people when they're immigrating to the US, freshly minted green card, they're coming to the US. In my experience as an immigration attorney, people sell their houses overseas. They come to the US, they're buying houses, they're buying cars, they're buying furnishing, they're spending a ton of money, they're establishing their roots, they're super excited, and they're making all these friends and all these connections. Basically what I'm saying is it's not the same pool of applicants. The freshly minted green card holders that are coming in, they're not fighting for your job or my job, the average American job. The L1A, H1B, H2B, J1, if they don't come, we're not going to get a job because they're not here. And we are not let go because suddenly they came. It's a completely different economy. The US immigration system and the Labor Department has been doing this for decades, and they've made this very, very clear. And the original policy was already in place. So this proclamation doesn't actually do what it's promising that it would do. Yes, I understand there are a lot of people that are unemployed. Yes, unemployment is very high, and if we could get it down to 4% again, it would be amazing. But banning these four groups of people, it's the wrong way to do it. There's better ways, and I already suggested it, but this is definitely the wrong way of doing it. All right, so let's talk about the exceptions now. If you are unfortunately part of that small group of people of H1B applicants that are overseas, that got selected in the lottery, that now are planning on coming in October and now has to be delayed potentially for 2 months, but you can't because your job is of critical importance that you need to come immediately, well, here's some of the exceptions provided in the proclamation. The first, if you're doing anything that is healthcare related, or if you're doing anything that's of national interest or security defense, or the catch-all, if you're doing anything to help the US economy recover, if you're imperative to help the US company hire more workers, well, you kind of fall under that exception. If you are so specialized, if you already got your H1B approved, chances are that you are part of that integral process to help the US company recover and to expand. And without you, the US company can't, and they cannot hire you more workers because they need your critical skill, then you qualify for that exception. The same logic applies to the H2B, to the J1, and to the L1 specifically. I mean, for every L1 application, you're going to include a business plan anyways to talk about how the executive that's coming to the US is going to expand the US company. Now, every company is getting the EIDL, the PPP, and they're all about to get the Main Street funding. So with this executive coming over, you're going to make the twin argument of going to expand the company and going to hire all these workers. And the second argument, you're not really displacing anyone. Without this person, you're not going to be able to hire anybody else. So the second exception is you can come on the different visa and just change your status, right? Maybe you have your B1, B2 tourist visa already, or you have a B1 business visa. If you can still come on that visa and then do everything that's allowed under the B1 visa. If you need to continue to extend, you can extend that visa. And then when time permits, you can change to your H1B or to the L1, whatever so you choose. You just have to make sure your application is done correctly, is honest. You have to present everything, why you did what you did, and that will be fine. So the third exception is the O1 visa category. The O1 visa category is not part of the four that got banned. For a lot of people who are on H1B or who are on L1, they are extraordinary in some way, shape, or form. You just have to take the application, tweak it a bit, and then you apply for the O1. You still could come in the US if it's super urgent that you need to come. Totally doable. Have done it a ton of times, and something worth exploring if you absolutely need to. So these are 3 huge exceptions to the proclamation that will still allow most people in if they're not in already. So as a summary, this proclamation was supposed to improve the US economy by reducing the unemployment, by adding 500,000 jobs to US workers, by preventing 4 groups of people from coming into the US to steal the 500,000 quota available to them. This is wrong on so many levels because they were not outside of the US for most of them. They were already here. The people who are outside, they will qualify for a lot of the exceptions that will allow them in. And even if they couldn't come in, and even if they didn't get the visa, most likely the US company will not suddenly hire US workers because these jobs that they were originally made for them are not available for the US worker anyways. So this proclamation is wrong on so many different levels. Now, you could say, I knew that. I knew this proclamation isn't really going to get me my job back, or it's not going to suddenly create a job for me. I just don't like seeing these people. I don't like seeing these executives, these H1B people coming in and living a better life. They are smarter, they are more capable, they are more hardworking, they have 2 master's degrees. I just don't like seeing them around. Well, I don't have anything to say against that. Yes, it did accomplish that. It did prevent a lot of smart, capable, wealthy, well-connected, hardworking people from entering the country to make America great. But I hope this video shows you that this is what it did and not actually help the economy get better. If you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more content like this, please let me know. I'm constantly experimenting with different type of things, so feel free to message me. We'll love to help you. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.